All right, folks, buckle up. We're diving headfirst into a topic that's sure to raise some eyebrows, and maybe even a few tempers. Have you ever wondered why some US cities seem to be crumbling right before our eyes? Crime skyrocketing, homelessness everywhere, and job markets disappearing faster than your last paycheck? Well, in today's video, we're going to uncover the real reasons behind 10 US cities that are spiraling downhill in 2025. And stick around until the end, because I've got a bonus city you absolutely won't believe is on the list. Let me ask you something. Do you ever turn on the news or scroll through social media and think, what the heck is happening to America's cities? Like, seriously. Places that were once booming cultural and economic hubs are now barely hanging on. Take a city like San Francisco, for example. Not too long ago, it was the tech capital of the world. But now, it's practically the poster child for urban decay. Sky-high rent, streets filled with tents, businesses fleeing left and right. So, what the hell is going on? Well, let's break it down by taking a closer look at these 10 cities you might want to avoid in 2025, if you haven't already packed your bags. Alright, so let's kick off with number one, San Francisco, California. What the hell happened to San Francisco? It was the envy of the tech world, the place where you could strike it rich in Silicon Valley, and now? The housing crisis is absurd, homelessness is rampant, and crime. Well, let's just say people don't feel too safe walking those famous hills anymore. But the real kicker? San Francisco's local government seems utterly disconnected from the problems at hand. Policies that are supposed to help the homeless crisis have only created environments that make it worse. Business taxes are driving companies out, making it nearly impossible for new ventures to set up shop. By 2025, we might see even more tech giants pulling out of the city, following Twitter and Oracle, leading to a shrinking job market and even more inequality. Number 2, Detroit, Michigan. You might be thinking, but Detroit's been on a comeback. Yeah, it was. Now, it's hitting a second wave of decline. Sure, some gentrified areas are thriving, but let's be real. The city's overall infrastructure? It's still a mess. The city's heavy reliance on the auto industry is part of the problem. Automation and electric vehicle production might mean fewer jobs for blue-collar workers. And while some tech investments have trickled in, they've done little to uplift the broader population. The public school system is crumbling, and the healthcare system in Detroit? Let's just say if you need care, you better hope you can afford to leave the city. By 2025, Detroit may face a brain drain, with young talent leaving for better opportunities elsewhere. Number 3, Portland, Oregon. Okay, Portland used to be known for its quirky, progressive vibes. But now, the streets are filled with protests, rising homelessness, and a city government that can't seem to figure out how to handle it. The crime rate's gone through the roof, businesses are leaving in droves, and it's almost like the city's lost control. What's driving this? For one, rent prices are shooting up. Portland is facing a serious lack of affordable housing, forcing more and more people onto the streets. Combine that with a sluggish job market that hasn't adapted well post-pandemic, and you've got a recipe for disaster. By 2025, expect Portland to continue losing residents to more affordable cities and a weakening local economy as businesses retreat. Tourism, once a major draw, is also expected to drop significantly as safety concerns rise. Number 4, Chicago, Illinois, the Windy City. Well, the wind these days is more like a tornado of issues. It's no secret that Chicago's crime rate has been a problem for years, but it's getting worse. The city's south and west sides are practically being abandoned by developers, and it's becoming clearer that the city's leadership hasn't figured out how to address deep-rooted issues like gun violence and systemic inequality. But here's something many people miss: Chicago's pension debt crisis. In 2025, that financial disaster could be the straw that breaks the city's back. How does a city function when its own government is broke? That's what residents might find out sooner rather than later. Number 5. Los Angeles, California. LA, the city of stars. Except the stars are leaving, the streets are filled with tents, and the cost of living is through the roof. Celebrities have fled to places like Texas, and the city's left with an economy that relies on an industry it's slowly losing. What people don't realize is that LA's traffic isn't just an inconvenience anymore. It's a symptom of a much larger problem. Infrastructure is aging, and there's not enough investment to keep up with the city's sprawling growth. Wildfires, worsening every year due to climate change, are also making large areas of the city practically uninhabitable for months at a time. By 2025, the allure of LA may be gone, with younger generations seeking opportunity in cities that don't literally burn every summer. Number 6. Baltimore, Maryland. Baltimore's been struggling for decades, but what's happening now is a whole new level. The city's crime rate has gotten so out of control that people are afraid to even leave their homes at night. The opioid crisis in Baltimore is a monster that hasn't been tamed, and that's driving up crime and homelessness even further. What's worse? The city's economy is stuck in a downward spiral. Its reliance on government jobs and service industries makes it vulnerable in a time of economic uncertainty. By 2025, expect Baltimore's population to shrink even more, with middle-class families and businesses fleeing in search of safety and opportunity elsewhere. Number 7. St. Louis, Missouri. Let's talk about St. Louis, a city with one of the highest crime rates in the country. St. Louis in 2025 is a city struggling to redefine itself. St. Louis suffers from an economic divide that's almost impossible to bridge. The affluent Central Corridor has seen a bit of revitalization, but the north side of the city, it's crumbling. Housing vacancy rates are alarming, leading to abandoned buildings becoming hotspots for crime. If the local government doesn't address this imbalance soon, 2025 will likely see St. Louis leaning further into poverty and violence, with fewer opportunities for residents to escape. Number 8. New York City, New York. Now, before you New Yorkers come for me in the comments, hear me out. I love the Big Apple as much as the next person, but NYC has some serious problems. Rent is unmanageable, crime's going up, and the subway? It's a nightmare. What you might not realize is that New York's high-end real estate market is inflating to dangerous levels. Foreign investment is propping up luxury developments that no average person can afford to live in. This bubble could burst in 2025, sending shockwaves through the city's already fragile housing market. Additionally, with work-from-home trends sticking around, office vacancies are rising fast. Will NYC's famed skyscrapers become empty shells in the near future? Number 9. Cleveland, Ohio. Cleveland's trying, I'll give it that. But trying doesn't always cut it. The city has been stuck in this weird limbo of revival for years, and nothing ever really sticks. Cleveland is suffering from a lack of industries capable of offering high-wage jobs. The manufacturing that once supported the city is gone, and the tech startups that are supposed to replace them? Yeah, not enough to make a dent. Cleveland's educational institutions aren't keeping up with the demand for skilled workers either, leading to an even wider gap between those who have and those who have not. By 2025, Cleveland might be one of the most economically unequal cities in the Midwest. Number 10. New Orleans, Louisiana. Last but definitely not least, we've got New Orleans. The city's always been a bit chaotic, and it's a tourist hotspot, sure. But underneath all that Mardi Gras glitter is a city dealing with rampant crime, a broken school system, and severe poverty. And with climate change threatening its very existence, New Orleans in 2025 is walking a tightrope. Coastal erosion, rising sea levels, and inadequate flood protection mean that the next big storm could be catastrophic. The city's already lost entire neighborhoods due to this, and unless serious investment is made, New Orleans might lose its battle against nature altogether. But before you go, here's the bonus city I promised. Any guesses? That's right. Austin, Texas. Yeah, I said it. The city everyone's flocking to. Tech bros, influencers, and musicians. Everyone loves Austin, right? Well, 2025 might be the year it all backfires. The city's infrastructure can't handle the growth. The cost of living is skyrocketing, and it's starting to look more like another Silicon Valley than the quirky, artsy city people fell in love with. The cracks are starting to show, folks. Gentrification is driving out longtime residents, traffic is a nightmare, and the city's unique culture is getting suffocated by big money. So, Austin in 2025? It's at a crossroads, and if it's not careful, it might end up on the same downhill list soon. If you're living in one of these cities, what do you think? Am I right? Or am I way off? Let me know in the comments below. And if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss more of these brutally honest takes on the world we live in. Thanks for watching The Global Adventures. I'll see you next time.